Right now at 6, the communities of Quapaw and Commerce, Oklahoma band together for a joint back-to-school bash celebration.
And we got a few clouds out there, and it is going to be another hot and sunny day. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, bikers in Joplin come together for the 3rd annual Ride for Autism Awareness.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Monday. Welcome to Monday. Welcome to a new week, and
Yes,
welcome to the same old thing we just had over the weekend. Hot temperatures.
Hot temperatures.
Yeah, it's going to be unpleasant to say
Sticky
the least outside. Some good news if you were with us during our 5 o'clock hour. I have fixed the temperature problem where Joplin was like 30 degrees cooler than everybody else.
As nice as that would have been.
It would be fantastic if we were in the 70s. We will not be, unfortunately. We're going to start with a look outside from our camera on top of the Cornell complex in downtown Joplin. We've got just a few clouds out there. Otherwise, a very warm start to the day across the area. We'll show you those temperatures in just a moment. Looking good as well. You can also see a few of those clouds now from our camera at 7th and Range Line, and folks getting the day underway, probably running the AC, honestly. Our morning producer, Tennyson, said that he was actually sweating on the ride here, and I absolutely believe it. I mean, as soon as I got in the car, it was already pretty warm. We do have heat advisories for the bulk of the area through the late evening hours, and that is for heat index values, once again, could be up there 105 to 108 degrees. So as we head into the afternoon, see, I fixed it. It's not saying 70 anymore. We are looking at temperatures climbing into the 90s, and it's going to be mid-upper 90s out there, again, with those unpleasant heat index values with a south-southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Already pretty warm, staying that way for many of us. 79 in Joplin, 74 in Pittsburgh, and temperatures around the region. It's a little cooler down to the southeast. That's why Barry, Lawrence, Benton, Delaware counties, there's not heat advisories, because you're going to be just that much cooler than the rest of us. You're already in the low 70s. The majority of us, though, mid and upper 70s as we get the day started. Kids getting on the bus this morning, it's about 74, so we're still going to fall a little bit to get to our overnight lows, and then we'll turn around and heat back up. Clear skies this morning and sunny when the bus brings them home, but hot, 96 by the time that bus returns this afternoon. So again, schools, if you've got outdoor activities, recess, you might want to reconsider, move them indoors if you can, because these heat index values can be dangerous to children out there. So just make sure you're keeping an eye on that. Mid-upper 90s, sunny skies today, very muggy, very uncomfortable. It's going to remain muggy and uncomfortable for the next few days, but then we have a cold front coming in toward the end of the week that's going to make some big changes for our forecast. Details on that coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Well, Joplin first responders were called to a structure fire in the Easttown neighborhood yesterday evening. Flames could be seen at the rear of the house, and firefighters were able to quickly bring the flames under control. No one was home when the fire broke out, and firefighters not only battled the fire, but high temperatures as well. 2 firefighters were transported to the area hospital as a precaution due to heat-related symptoms. Well, yesterday, community members in Carthage held a rally supporting Jason Martin as fire chief. The event comes after Carthage firefighters submitted a statement supporting Martin as chief. The Carthage City Council recently tabled choosing a new chief despite the hiring committee unanimously selecting Martin from more than 10 applicants. And now you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps as well as our website. Watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free. The KOAM Plus TV streaming app. Well, bikers gathered in Joplin yesterday to support a good cause. The 3rd annual Ride for Autism Awareness started at Cycle Connection and finished at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort in Seneca. After the ride, participants could join a panel discussion about employing a person with special needs. Organizers say the event is about starting conversations, supporting and listening to those with autism. Dozens of local businesses helped sponsor this year's ride. Well, a Cup of Grace Coffee and Panini Shop in Oswego held a twine class hosted by award-winning Choctaw artist Deborah Pruitt. The class uses some traditional Choctaw methods that are centuries old, even predating weaving as we know it today. The featured project that everyone was making was an angel, and the organizer says the class is a way to engage with the Native American culture.
Native Americans are still here, and we're not past tense. We're very current and very vibrant, and we're still here and still active and still doing things, wonderful things.
A Cup of Grace is moving down the road to 1026th Street soon, and they hope to continue holding similar events in the future. Well, a collaborative back-to-school bash celebration for both Quapaw and Commerce, Oklahoma was held Saturday at Commerce High School after Quapaw schools sustained storm damage. KOAM's Mitch Adams has that story.
It's just a great event, and it brings our it brings our two communities together, and we're so close. There's no reason for us to be, even though we are probably football rivals, there's no reason for us to be community rivals.
With a new school year swiftly approaching, both Quapaw and Commerce had plans for a back-to-school bash in both respective towns. However, after storms damaged Quapaw schools, the two communities decided to join forces for a collaborative back-to-school celebration. Tammy Holland, the city clerk in Commerce, tells us why the two towns came together for this event.
Quapaw's was supposed to be today, but their facilities are still getting repaired, so we just came together and brought everybody here. Everything is free. We've got water slides, we've got free hamburgers, hot dogs, chips, drinks, snow cones. Everything's free for the kids today. You can even come dunk a cup.
A future 8th grader from Commerce says that it's a positive thing that the two towns are able to celebrate the beginning of a new school year together despite the hardship.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good because we get to have all the fun together instead of having them separated. Because Quapaw can't have it, we bring them to Commerce, and now they can have the fun because of the storm damage.
With all of the festivities in play at Commerce High School, the options for fun were endless.
Playing in the bounce houses. The bounce houses.
Basically just hanging out with friends here for the slushies and food.
Having fun. Just having fun, playing in the water.
The school year is set to ring in for Quapaw on a delayed schedule. Repairs to the school in Quapaw are expected to be finished by that date. Reporting from Commerce, Oklahoma, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
The first day of school for Quapaw has been delayed with the new school year scheduled to start on September 3rd. For more information, you can visit our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. FAFSA delays are affecting freshman enrollment, with many colleges saying enrollment is down. Plus, the ceasefire and hostage exchange between Israel and Hamas failed over the weekend, causing concerns of a broader war. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Monday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look of Pittsburgh ahead of their Little Balkans Day festivities. Topping Nation Watch this morning. Many colleges across the country are beginning their fall semesters, and in some cases, enrollment is down. Some schools say an overhaul with the financial aid application process known as FAFSA caused major problems this year, and the ripple effect caused the enrollment to drop. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona is assuring parents and students the problems will be fixed and people can start applying for federal financial aid by December 1st for the 2025-2026 school year. About 75% of nearly 400 private colleges and universities recently responded to a survey that said the FAFSA issues changed the makeup of this year's freshman class. Not only are classes smaller, but the survey found the classes are less diverse than in years past. Well, Microsoft has announced a cybersecurity conference. Microsoft executives plan to meet with CrowdStrike and other security companies at Microsoft's headquarters in Washington State in September. It comes after a CrowdStrike software update in July that caused outages for millions of Windows computers worldwide. Delta Airlines said the outage cost the company more than $500 million, and Delta is now seeking damages from CrowdStrike and Microsoft. Well, President nominee Kamala Harris raised $82 million during last week's Democratic National Convention. That means so far she's raised $540 million for her run. According to the Harris campaign, the hour following Harris's convention speech was their biggest moneymaker to date. 2/3 of Harris's first-time donors have been women, and Harris reported $204 million to the Federal Election Commission in July. That was nearly 4 times President Trump's $48 million for the same period. Concerns of a broader war continue to grow after Israel and Hezbollah militants in neighboring Lebanon exchanged fire on Sunday. Israeli officials say it was a preemptive strike to stop a significant attack against them. This morning, things appear calm after both sides claimed victory. Chris Lawson has the latest from New York.
High-level negotiations in Cairo towards a ceasefire and hostage exchange between Israel and Hamas failed to produce a breakthrough over the weekend, though lower-level talks are expected to continue. It comes after Israel and Iran-backed Hezbollah fighters in Lebanon on Sunday had their biggest exchange of fire since conflict broke out in the region 10 months ago, briefly raising fears of an all-out war.
It is incumbent on all parties in the region to work towards de-escalation and stability.
Israel says it launched a preemptive strike using around 100 military planes to destroy thousands of Hezbollah rocket launchers in Lebanon.
We carried the real-time operation in order to degrade those capabilities that were about to be launched at Israel. We were successful.
Hours later, Israel said it intercepted hundreds of rockets and drones launched by Hezbollah. The militant group says its counterattack was in retaliation for the recent assassination of one of its founders. Things appear to have calmed down for now, with both sides claiming victory after hitting what they claimed were military targets. Though Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said this was, quote, not the end of the story. White House officials say President Joe Biden has been monitoring the Middle East situation. And on Sunday, the Pentagon said that Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin ordered 2 U.S. aircraft carriers to remain in the region for deterrence. Carissa Lawson, CBS News.
Officials in Lebanon say at least 3 people were killed there by the Israeli strikes, while Israel says one of its soldiers was killed and 2 others injured after debris from an interceptor hit a Navy vessel. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, not much on the Skywatch storm tracker this morning, unfortunately, and it will remain dry and clear over the next several days until we get a cold front later this week. We'll talk about that in the full forecast, and that's coming up here in just a few more minutes.
Well, a fun rubber duck race tradition is back in Vermont. That's after a community had to cancel the event last year due to devastating flooding. Connor Thorne takes a closer look at how the annual event race is helping the area continue to recover from those floods.
Bobbing up and down in a race between bridges, onlookers peered across waters as the 25th annual duck race splashed through Ludlow. The Ludlow Rotary Club threw around 850 rubber ducks into flowing waters of the Black River Saturday, hoping to raise money for multiple local organizations and promote a weekend of fun after a tough year for the town.
It's always been a big event here, but in the last 12, 14 months, these things like this are even more important, even more vital to get out. Whether you have a duck in the race or you're just coming to watch and just see some of the community members, it's good to get out.
The race also benefited the Lake Rescue Association, a charity that supports the preservation of multiple lakes and bodies of water near the town. Bruce Zanka, the organization's president, says they have a dredging project coming up in September that will remove sediment which was washed into the lakes during last year's floods but it will be costly.
You know, every bit we can help to raise some money for that, it makes a big difference for the community.
It's ironic, you know, because I think everybody knows where we are, where we live, and surrounded by the lakes, the rivers, and what impact, and sometimes in a negative way that can be. But if you look here today, obviously those waters are having a tremendous positive impact for this community.
Local officials hope events such as these can help the town continue to rebuild after what was a devastating flood, and hope it can grab attention from outsiders who visit the area.
The people that come to Ludlow, both in ski season and in the summer, are from out of state. And, I think they get excited about that. And so if they can, see something fun for their kids and see what's going on here and raise some money.
Rotary officials say they usually raise a couple $1,000s from the annual race. They expect the same from this year's event. Reporting in Ludlow, Connor Olathorn, Channel 3 News.
Certainly a fun tradition there. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
We got a pretty nice start to the day out there, although it is a bit warm for many of us this morning. We'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's about to be 6:23 on this Monday morning. We're going to start with the future track. We're going to have a south-southwesterly breeze about 5 to 10. We're also going to have very hot temperatures once again today with us soaring into the upper 90s. Take a look at Yates Center, Fredonia, getting really close to 100 degrees out there as we head into the afternoon hours. We'll cool back a little bit more tonight than what we did last night and into this morning. And we could have a few stray clouds here and there. However, we're expected to remain dry over the next several days. We're going to stay hot over the next several days. It won't be until we get into Thursday. Now, we have a cold front coming in that's going to give us an opportunity to cool back a little bit. In fact, we're going to cool back quite a bit. And we'll talk about that here in just a moment. First, though, we have to contend with this business. These are heat advisories once again for the bulk of the area through the late evening hours. We're talking heat index values in this zone anywhere from 105 to 108. So again, Lawrence, Berry, Benton, Delaware counties. You're not in a heat advisory. It doesn't mean it's not still going to be hot, but you may be just below heat advisory criteria. So that would be heat index values at that above 100. So you may cap out at about 100. So still hot, still want to take it easy out there. Now, the heat risk potential, again, is terrifying to look at sometimes. We have a major to even extreme risk for dangerous heat across the area today. By tomorrow, we start to see it fall back as humidity levels improve just a wee bit. But what I really want to get to is Thursday. As that cold front starts to roll through, we start to see minor to moderate heat risk. By Friday and Saturday, it is minor across the region, and by Sunday, we even get little splotches of little to no heat risk, and that's because of that cold front. Again, number of heat safety tips, our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Got a nice looking sunrise out there. A few clouds this morning, but it is warm. 79 in Joplin, feels like 81 with a south breeze at about 8 miles an hour. Temperatures around the region this morning, again, see where there's not the heat advisories and see where these temperatures are in the low 70s. Whereas the majority of us are in the mid to upper 70s this morning. That's why, again, you'll be hot, but not nearly as hot as some of your neighbors. Getting the morning underway, warm to start, upper 70s by 8, upper 80s by 11 o'clock, getting close to 90 degrees. And again, that's ahead of our highs today, going into the mid and upper 90s for the majority of us. And you saw on the future track, Yates Center, Fredonia, for example, could reach close to 100 degrees today. So you got to take the heat seriously. Again, schools, recess, outdoor activities, if you can move them indoors, absolutely recommend you do so because these temperatures, those heat index values can be dangerous for kids. So you want to make sure you're keeping them safe. We'll have mostly clear skies again tonight, a little cooler, low to mid 70s. Then here comes the best part, cold front. All right, ahead of that, we're going to have mid 90s. Then we have isolated storm chances during the day Thursday, but those rain chances will increase overnight. Because take a look, we go from 95 to 67. Cold front pushes through, more storms on Friday. Not looking at anything severe at this point, but we'll keep an eye on it. Either way, though, the main thing we're seeing is temperature drops. Mid-upper 80s heading into the weekend, and we have a few showers on Sunday. We cool back even more in the next week. Low to mid 80s out there. And take a look at Tuesday night, could even fall into the upper 50s. 50s. So relief is on the way. We've just got to push through the next few days and we'll get there together. That's a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, we know lifting weights at the gym can build muscle, but new research shows it can also improve the health of our body cells. A study at the University of Bonn found strength training helps clear cellular waste by activating a critical protein called BAG3. The findings could help lead to new therapies for heart failure and nerve diseases. Well, scientists in Berlin have found a new way to improve the effectiveness of some breast cancer drugs by using the body's internal clock. Circadian rhythm can impact a drug's performance, but the schedule varies from person to person. The researchers used cell cultures from patients to clock when chemotherapy is most effective. Eventually, the technique could be used customizing treatment for patients. And researchers at Rutgers University have found a protein from parasitic worms can help skin wounds heal. The study in mice found applying the protein on the skin surface speeds up wound closure, inhibits scar tissue formation, and helps regenerate skin and hair. They say the protein is easy to produce, but more study is needed before it can be used in humans. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, students at Pitt State host a car show to help fundraise for student scholarships.
And the looks can be deceiving. It looks like a nice day outside. It's already warm and it's going to get dangerously hot again. A look at that forecast get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the George Washington Carver National Monument presents stories of American history.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Monday, August the 26th here in the 4 states. Here we go. Getting ready to roll into September, and September is going to bring us some fall-like temperatures.
Oh, isn't that going to be nice?
It will be
after this
great.
August, this summer has just been so hot.
And
It's such a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's back in June is when all this business started with this roller coaster ride of heat. You know, we were hot for a week or so, then it cools down below normal. Then the next week it shoots right back up, and that's what we saw last week. We had almost an entire week of below normal temperatures, and then through the weekend, yeah, we went above that. One to mention real quick, too, Chanute over the weekend set a record warm low of 80 degrees. So that broke the record warm low of 78 back in 2021. So it's been warm, to say the least, and it's going to stay that way for a little longer. Let's take a look outside. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line in Joplin, and we're looking pretty good so far. Like I said, looks are a bit deceiving. It looks nice outside, but once you step outside, you realize rather quickly it's not. And this is another indicator as to how unpleasant it will be. Most of us have heat advisories through the late evening hours, and that's for heat index values 105 to 108 degrees out there. Those without a heat advisory, still hot, could see heat index values up to 100. So you're just below heat advisory criteria. So don't let it fool you thinking, oh, well, we don't have an advisory, it'll be fine. It will not be fine. But you will be a wee bit cooler than your neighbors as we head into the afternoon. Otherwise, we're looking at sunny skies. Look at some of these temperatures. Yates Center and Fredonia could easily get close to 100 degrees today. So you've got to take the heat seriously. So again, schools, outdoor activities, recess, outdoor workers, if you got to be outside, stay hydrated. Schools probably should keep the kids inside if at all possible. 79 in Joplin right now, 74 in Pittsburgh. Not much movement on temperatures this morning. A cooler start, again, outside of those heat advisory areas, low 70s. So again, you're going to be that much cooler than your neighbors. Everybody else, though, mid to upper 70s to start the day. Kids getting on the bus, sunny skies. We're looking at low to mid 70s for the majority of us, and then we'll heat up quickly by the time that bus comes back this afternoon. 96 degrees, sunny skies, and again, highs today, majority of us upper 90s, sunny, and a reminder, those heat index values 105 to 108 degrees, so uncomfortable to say the least. It will remain uncomfortable through about Thursday. Then we have a cold front coming in. That's going to drop our temperatures and bring some rain chances. We'll have details on that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, area law enforcement agencies joined together to take part in Saturation Saturday, an annual patrol that targets DWI drivers. Agencies who participated this year include Joplin Police, Webb City Police, the Jasper and Newton County Sheriff's Departments, and the Missouri State Highway Patrol. Now, Saturation Saturday takes place the weekend before Labor Day, with local agencies looking for impaired and careless drivers and hazardous traffic violations. Participating departments say their goal is keeping the roadways safe. The George Washington Carver National Monument showcased stories from American culture Saturday. The stories were told by Cherry and Jerry, a ragtime band who played and told the history of ragtime in Missouri. Suzanne Jones, who told stories from Native American tribes, and Angela De Silva, who presented the life of a Missouri slave.
That's what we do in the National Park Service every day. Here at George Washington Carver National Monument, we tell the story of George Washington Carver's life every day. And so we wanted to expand that and tell other wonderful stories about this wonderful country.
The event coincides with the 108th birthday of the National Park Service. The Alliance of Southwest Missouri is helping clean the community with the 3rd annual Sudstock. Now, the event, while also having inflatable and foam cannons, also teaches people about substance misuse. The event also had free hot dogs and ice cream.
The boys had a football scrimmage this morning, so they really needed to clean off for being sweaty. But no, just the fun that they get to have and enjoy with their friends out here.
Sudstock also included a puppet show from local author Izzy B. Well, members of Pittsburgh State University's Human Health Performance and Recreation Club held its first annual car show Saturday. The event, also known as Carrilla Fest, is to help fundraise for scholarships for HHPR students. Now, Carrilla Fest also had awards for the top 2 winners and 2 food trucks for attendees to enjoy.
So we were tasked with deciding to do an annual event that could help raise scholarship funds for the department. And a car show is a good one where everyone can be involved. It's not like you have to be really good at something. And we were hoping the community would rally around this. And that's kind of what led us to this.
At least 17 cars pre-registered for the event. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Walmart is recalling apple juice due to harmful levels of inorganic arsenic. And we have a hot and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look of Pittsburgh ahead of their Little Balkans Day festivities. In Consumer Watch this morning, every year Americans throw out nearly 60 million tons of food, and most of it ends up in landfills. But Itai Hodge shows us how a growing number of states are repurposing what has already been tossed.
Sirloin steak.
Most people see expiration dates as the end. But for Will Dittmar, they're just the beginning.
We waste enough food to fill Oracle Stadium on a daily basis. It's unforgivable.
The executive director of an organization called Extra Food, Will collects groceries from supermarkets in San Francisco that would otherwise head to the landfill and delivers them to local nonprofits and pantries.
Let me just pop this off and thank you.
About a third of U.S. food supply goes uneaten. When it rots in landfills, it produces methane gas. California now requires all supermarkets to give away food that is still fit to eat rather than throw it away. But according to Will, some companies are still dragging their feet.
I don't think anybody or any business likes food waste. At the same time, there also has to be effective enforcement on the back end.
We're still in the education phase.
Alexa Kelty is the Zero Waste Coordinator at San Francisco's Environment Department. She says the city is giving businesses until the end of the year to comply with the law.
You don't want to rush it, because what you're going to end up with is organizations receiving food that may not be as fresh as we'd like it to be.
Today, Will is delivering produce, meats, and baked goods to the Derek Silva community, a nonprofit that helps people living with HIV and other disabilities. The food has been a godsend to residents like Vicente Macias.
For me, this is like glory.
Helping those most in need by filling bellies instead of landfills. Itai Had, CBS News, San Francisco.
Well, Walmart is recalling nearly 10,000 cases of apple juice because they may contain inorganic arsenic at harmful levels. The contaminated juice was sold under the Great Value brand in 25 states, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico. No illnesses have been reported so far. Well, Subway is joining other fast food chains in lowering prices. Starting today, foot-long sandwiches will cost just $6.99. Subway CEO says the new deal means fans can get the sandwiches they crave at a great value. Customers must order through the app or at subway.com to get the deal, which ends on September 8th. And the jersey that baseball legend Babe Ruth wore in his famous called shot home run fielded more than $25 million at auction over the weekend. That makes it the most expensive sports memorabilia ever sold at auction, according to MLB.com. The famous New York Yankee hit the historic home run in Game 3 of the 1932 World Series against the Chicago Cubs. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got another hot day out there, dangerous heat to contend with. A quick look outside from our camera. I kind of forgot where I was sometime. It's Monday. We got some clouds out there. Otherwise, it looks nice. It just doesn't feel nearly as nice as we'd like it to. It's our camera on the Cornell Complex, 7th and Range line. Our camera there also looking pretty good, showing us again some of those few clouds out there. And as we head south to the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range line, folks getting their day underway. And traffic is moving. That's always a plus as long as it's not stopped. It's a good thing, unless the light's red, as we've talked about. Do you want to stop for the red light? Heat advisories for the bulk of the area through the late evening hours. We're talking heat index values up to 105, maybe as high as 108. Those of you outside the heat advisories, you are not going to be, that much better. You're just going to be this much cooler. So heat index values could still reach close to 100 degrees. So keep that in mind. Another thing for schools to keep in mind as well with outdoor activities, recess, maybe keep the kids inside. And if you're working outside, you'll definitely want to take frequent breaks, stay hydrated, because take a look, the further west you go, as it always is, it gets hotter. And Yates Center, Fredonia, Coffeyville, Bartlesville getting close to 100 degrees today for those high temperatures as we stay mostly sunny, in fact just straight up sunny through the afternoon. 79 in Joplin, 74 in Pittsburgh, and temperatures around the area, again, a very mild start to the day out there. A little cooler to the south and east. Take a look at Jay, 69, low 70s, Monette, Cassville, Bentonville, and Anderson. The rest of us mostly mid to upper 70s. Kids getting on the bus this morning, about 74 when that bus arrives. And sunny skies, south breeze 5 to 10. South-southwest winds later today, still 5 to 10. Sunny, 96 when that bus brings them back home. So do be prepared for the heat. It's almost time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. Those are coming up after the break. But first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Vladimir Jutip. Coming up on CBS Mornings, it's another edition of Beg Knows America. Viewers have been writing to David about people they know, and he brings us not one, not two, but 3 new moving stories. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Monday birthdays in the 4 states. We've got a good list for you. We're starting with Georgia Marie Black, celebrating birthday number 3. Says, happy birthday, love mommy, daddy, Emily, Daniel, grandma, and the rest of the family.
And over in Columbus, a happy 4th birthday to Brylan Midget.
And we've got Bailey Jo Morris celebrating birthday number 6. It says, your family loves you. Happy birthday.
And over in Riverton, a happy 7th birthday to Kevin Phillips. It says here, love mom, dad, Kaylin, Grammy, and Papa.
And in Jasper, Bridget Hill celebrating birthday number 11. Says happy birthday from mom, dad, Gatlin, grandma, and papa.
And over in Columbus, a happy 15th birthday to Isaac Johnson.
And in Chinook, Colton Meisner celebrating birthday number 21. Happy birthday, Colton.
And happy 37th birthday to Sean Smith and Stella. It says, happy birthday, love your wife and kids.
And Blake Guffey celebrating birthday number 43. Happy birthday, Blake.
And over in Pittsburgh, a happy 58th birthday to Gail Allen.
And in Columbus, Kay Amick celebrating another year wiser. Happy birthday, Kay.
And also in Columbus, a happy birthday to LaDonna Smith.
And this really nice birthday list continues with Ed Vanderbeck celebrating birthday number 88 in Cherokee. Happy birthday, Ed.
And happy birthday to Leroy Kirchner.
And a birthday in Cherokee with wishes going out to Alice Mussa. Happy birthday.
And over in Scammon, a happy birthday to Lela Grant.
And we're going to head back to Columbus with Barbara Frank celebrating another year wiser.
And last but not least, a happy 21st anniversary to Chris and Marley Jones in Parsons.
All right, do you see what I'm talking about? That was a fantastic list of birthdays and anniversaries, and what I'd love to, we had a lot more special messages going out to your loved ones today. If you would like to celebrate with us, Elise has some information you need to know.
Yes, go ahead and submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those photos and messages as well, and to, as always, meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen.
Absolutely, and it's going to be another hot, toasty day across the region. It started on Friday where it got a little hotter, and then it's just continued to escalate, and it will escalate again today as we see temperatures soaring into the upper 90s. Some of our friends out west, Chanute, Yates Center, Fredonia, Coffeyville, Bartlesville, Veneta. It could get pretty darn close to 100 degrees today, so you've got to take the heat seriously. Again, if you have to work outdoors, you know the drill. Take frequent breaks, stay hydrated, get inside when you can. And for schools, recess, outdoor activities, you really want to consider having the kids indoors today wherever possible, because this heat can be dangerous for them. Those heat index values today, 105 to 108. It's not safe to be outside in that activity at all. All right, we're going to have sunny skies again Tuesday and Wednesday. Temperatures are going to remain hot. A few clouds here and there, mainly into the overnight hours as we see cloud cover pick up out there. Maybe a few clouds on our Wednesday, otherwise sunny skies and another hot, uncomfortable day. But there's some good news. Relief is on the way as we head later into the week. Quick reminder on the heat advisories, the bulk of the area through late evening tonight. The good news is at this point, we're not looking at them continuing, and here's why. We're going to start to fall just below heat advisory criteria. So it doesn't mean it's not still going to be hot, but this map right now is a great example. So in the heat advisories, 105 to 108 degree heat index values. The counties outside, you're at about 100 degree heat index values. You got to get above that for heat advisory criteria. So it's still going to be hot, but we're going to fall just below that criteria for most of us. Excessive heat risk map is unpleasant to look at, but we've got major to even extreme heat risk across the area today. Moderate to major on our Tuesday, and see, that's what I'm saying. Our humidity levels will drop back a bit. We'll still have uncomfortable temperatures and heat index values, but we should fall just below heat advisory criteria as we head further into Wednesday, Thursday as well. Thursday, though, brings a cold front. We start to see a minor to moderate heat index or heat risk out there, and by Friday, it is minor. By Saturday, it remains minor. And my favorite one on this whole thing is Sunday. We go minor with even some little to no risk, and that's because of that cold front. We'll talk about that a little later. We do want to remind you, heat safety tips on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Make sure you guys know the drill on this. Take your pets for early morning walks. Keep them indoors. Otherwise, make sure the kids are hydrated with water. Pedialyte Pops, great ways to do that. For you outside, make sure you're finding shade, drinking plenty of water. School's back in session, so we need to check on the elderly and also, again, work to keep the kids inside. They're not going to like it because, you know, kids, they don't get it. I was a kid. We all were kids once. We get it. We look outside, it's sunny. Why can't we go outside? Okay. They don't know that the heat is dangerous out there. And see, it's already that hot that that camera has decided to shut down on me. 79 degrees in Joplin, though, 81. And before it went blank, you did see, there it is. Pretty nice sunrise out there. Temperatures across the region this morning are again quite warm. Off to the south and east, a little cooler. Jay, check that out, 69 degrees. But the majority of us mid and upper 70s as we get this day started. Through the morning, again, a mild start, upper 70s, and by 11 o'clock, pushing near 90 degrees. Well, have another look at your forecast, talk about that cold front and the news you need to know. That's right after this break. And when we transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., tell you about a Georgia middle school that's working to encourage more of their students to read, and they're doing that by walking.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Community members in Carthage held a rally supporting Jason Martin as fire chief. The event comes after Carthage firefighters submitted a statement supporting Martin as chief. The Carthage City Council recently tabled choosing a new chief despite the hiring committee unanimously selecting Martin from more than 10 applicants. Area law enforcement agencies joined together to take part in Saturation Saturday, an annual patrol that targets DWI drivers. Saturation Saturday takes place the weekend before Labor Day with local agencies looking for impaired and careless drivers. Participating departments say their goal is to keep the roadways safe. And a cup of Grace Coffee and Panini Shop in Oswego held a twine class hosted by award-winning Choctaw artist Deborah Pruitt. The class uses some traditional Choctaw methods that are centuries old. The organizer says the class is a way to engage with the Native American culture. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we've got another hot day out there. Heat advisories in place. Temperatures mid-upper 90s. Heat index values 105 to 108. So make sure you're taking precautions out there. We'll have clear skies initially through the evening. A few clouds late evening and overnight, falling back into the low to mid 70s. We stay warm and muggy, but just below heat advisory criteria. At least that's what it's looking like all the way through Thursday. A few isolated storms during the day Thursday. Then a cold front increases those chances overnight and into Friday. And what it does for us, too, is it decreases temperatures. Upper 60s Thursday night. Take a look at Friday, mid-80s, mid-upper 80s through the weekend, and then more showers Sunday, bring in even cooler air. We're talking low 80s for next week. And take a look at Tuesday night, upper 50s for the lows. So just a few more days, and then we'll get there together.
All right, sounds like a plan.
I'm looking forward to that cooler weather.
Absolutely. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making homemade microwave pickles in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Coming up next on CBS Mornings, the latest in the ongoing saga to bring home 2 American astronauts. Their 8-day space mission back in June won't get them back to Earth until at least February. Hear why it's another blow to Boeing.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, a Kansas coffee shop hosts class that connects residents with Native American culture.
And Daisy Flood of the Pittsburgh Area Chamber of Commerce joining us in the studio to talk about Little Balkans Days. That's just around the corner. We'll be back here later at noon.
There you go.